Welcome in MacGyver Engineering once again. My background is as shiny as my ugliest in the world sunglasses, but they are good for work. Today I'm going to guide you through the process of making those. It's a temporary portable fencing for construction sites. It may end up with different results. This one is not as bad as this one over there, and it will take a little bit of practice to achieve that kind of result, but this is, I believe, the cheapest way you can do it in your home shop, and the quickest and the most durable. It's not the strongest one though, but if you take care about them, you know, they will last for decades basically. So let's dive into it. First of all, we start with proper materials. I'm using 3 centimeter by 3 centimeter square tubing. The wall thickness is 1.5, and it has to be like that for the purpose of fitting inside 2.5 centimeter piping like this one. It's a 2 millimeter thickness piping. This is a base. I mean, there is not much to explain about this one. You see how they look, you know, you will definitely know how they work. So going back to this one, first of all, I made this bender. This bender, I haven't seen anyone doing it this way on YouTube. I mean, making a bender from pieces like this. Everyone is using rather solid chunks of steel or wood or plywood or something like that, but 3 centimeters tubing is quite of a pipe, you know. So I basically took those bars. It's a 12 millimeter bar, and I wrap it around a plywood. I cut off a circle from a plywood and I wrap this one around it, which isn't too extremely difficult. It requires a little bit of force, but you can do it. Then I basically welded them together, adding in between those two center semicircles an additional bar that was sticking out about 3, maybe 4 millimeters, but it turned out to be not enough, so I added extra string of rebar that I basically shaved off those ribs. So it's it's a little bit more aggressive than it was in the beginning. In the beginning it was basically too hard to bend it. I still did a proper bends with this one, but some of them was failing because of the forces working over here. There was basically too strong, and there was, like pushing the pipe that was coming in out of the die. So you have to really push this inner part in, so it weakens a little bit on the inside. And it allows those forces to go somewhere else other than to the rest of the pipe. As you can see, the bend is ready, and I allow them to be a little bit out of right angle to force those pieces together when it's done, the frame. It makes it a little bit more rigid when there is a tension in the frame. And maybe one more detail. As you can see, there is a crowbar inside, which I cut off and put inside, and there is another pipe inside this one because this part over here takes a huge tension. I would rather want to use a solid piece of iron if I had one, but I really don't, and this takes huge amounts of force. I'm using this over 3 meter pipe as a lever, and it still requires me to use quite a substantial amount of force. Okay, so let's go to another step. After bending all of those that I'm planning to do today, it's Saturday, so you know. So after doing that, you need to prepare it for welds. I'm using a flap disc with abrasive paper. I think this is 40, and I just, you know, remove all the galvanization from around. And you want to do it regardless what method you are using, whether it is stick welding, although this thickness I would not recommend to stick weld. You know, it's 1.5, it's you know, the average electrodes are 2.5. I mean, if you have such thin electrodes, you can attempt to do that, but I know it's possible. I did that really using a regular, you know, 2.5 electrodes, but it's nothing that is reliable. You know, you cannot trust that, definitely, and it's, you know, difficult to really perform it over and over again without mistakes. So, you know, grinding the edges of the piping, and you know, I'm lucky enough to have a MIG welder at my disposal, so I'm going to MIG weld it. Okay, when the welds cooled off, it's time to cover the damages you made by welding and exposing the steel. You know, you need to cover it with something. I'm using the zinc spray for professional use. You know, I have doubts if I can use it because I'm, you know, you can see by the quality of my welds that I'm not a professional by any extent of imagination. But you know, appearances is one, the strength of it is the other thing. You know, I don't focus really here on the appearances. I really want it to be fused properly, and I think this is what I achieved actually. Okay. And the last step, the first step of the last step, is to arrange the sheet metal on top of the frame. Arrange them, then I'm screwing them to the frame using those. It's self-drilling, self-tapping big head, especially designed for sheet metal screws. Panayamo. Exactly. That kind of stuff. And in between the panels I'm using rivets. Unfortunately, I couldn't get any shorter than this, so I'm using those. I think this is 4.0 times 8. That would be nice to have a 4x4, but we don't have it, so it would be a waste of time to, you know, drive around the town and search for a rivet like that, so whatever. And that's it. More videos coming soon.